Consistency is key. So if they have that mindset of I'm going to continue to do what you say and they stick with it, oh man, the transformations are huge.
Welcome to the Beauty Talk podcast, where we feature how the best medical practitioners help their patients to look better, younger, and healthier. Now, enjoy the show, and here's your host.
Daniel Gao here. I'm the host of Beauty Talk, where we feature the top medical practitioners in health and beauty, both inside and out. I have Dr. James Wilson, Marketing Director for Body Louisville. He's a psychologist and counselor and got started in the cosmetic business 2 years ago after being a client of Body Louisville since 2017. He had such amazing results that he was actually ready to tell the world about the natural beauty of body. I also have Katie Cox, Body's esthetician and spa manager, with us as well. So Dr. Wilson and Katie, welcome and glad to have you here.
Thank you so much for having us. We're excited.
Yeah. So Dr. Wilson, we kind of talked a little about how you got to be part of Body, but I'm curious, how did you really get interested in aesthetics to begin with?
Yeah. So, being so into mind, body, and spirit, and being a counselor first before a psychologist, I was, just so self-aware of how it's important to take care of yourself. And I think sometimes people want to shy away from beauty itself and what that means. And so we're such a holistic center that I was excited to be a part of anesthetics. I think people feel like sometimes that is something vain, and I wanted to fight against that and say, hey, we're just here to make you a better version of yourself. And it's okay to do that and make people feel very comfortable with that, because I think sometimes it carries a very bad name. And I was so excited because I always came out looking so natural and refreshed. And I always got that from people. You look rested. So you look, I'm like, well, thanks. And Katie being part of the team and Dr. Nair being part of the team and me getting to share that. And that's made me very excited to be a part of this world. Yeah.
Got it. So Katie, how about yourself? How did you get interested in aesthetics?
Oh gosh. Well, I would say probably back in 2020 when the whole world was shut down, I made a decision to go back to school. I was a retail store manager and when we came back, the whole world was still shut down, but I had to go back after 6 weeks. And through many payroll struggles and the pressure to sell, I was like, you know what? I want to go back to school and pursue my passion. So in 2020, I signed my papers to go to esthetician school and I never looked back. And I
Nice.
absolutely love it.
Awesome. Now, when it comes to the practice itself, what are some of the most common treatments that your clients and your patients come to you for?
Oh gosh, we do a variety of things. So mostly what I do the most of is facials and microneedling, but we do have laser hair removal and laser vein removal, and we have tons of different facials, but we also do Botox and fillers, and that's done by our doctors as well as medical weight loss. So we do a variety of different things, but personally, what I do the most would be facials and microneedling.
Got it. Okay. Now, I want to talk about really kind of what separates your practice from others in the industry. Because I mean, within the beauty industries, particularly for medical spas, it seems like there's medical spas popping up on every single corner these days. So I'm curious, what would you say really differentiates Body from other competitors or other practices out there?
Absolutely. And we've discussed this so much. I think that we do um, a natural look. So we do everything that's all the way up to surgical procedures. So we like to explain that because we do know when to hand off. So, we do need to be able to say, oh, I'm sorry that we can do everything up to, but if say a chin area or some eyes are going to require surgery, we do want to know our limits so that we know how to hand off to a surgical procedure. And we do have those partnerships. But I think what sets us apart is that so many will do it by volume. So they're just looking to get as many people in as possible and not personalize the treatment, right? What we really like to do is think of the person themselves. and we want to have a long-term relationship. So many of our clients have been here for, I don't know, like since the
Oh,
beginning,
yeah.
for years, and that's what we cherish about ours. And when I say it's easy for me to sell, and that's why I came on board, they didn't have a marketing position. And I would have to say, after being in the healthcare field for 27 years, anesthetics is one of the most challenging to market. And you bring up a good point because in our city itself, I'm like, stop opening. There's one on every corner. And I say that honestly because it is very competitive. So you have to know what makes you stand out. But ours is very naturalistic. And Dr. Nair is very good about saying no to something. And people are so gracious for that. You
Mhm.
know, I appreciated that because then the results I have are always just enhancing who I am. She'll say, we make you a better you. We're not making you a different person, but when you walk out of here, you're just going to be a better version. So to answer your question simply, I said I want some t-shirts. I'm always making us t-shirts. I'm trying to bring this all the time because simply what makes us better and we feel so comfortable selling that product. Yeah.
Got it. Now, you did talk about personalizing the treatments, and I think that's really important for on the practice side to understand, because I'm sure that you've seen this all the time, is that people come in, especially if it's their first time, or their first time to
Mhm.
just their first time to just the aesthetic world in general. And I think a lot of them come in and they have a little bit of, maybe not skepticism, but fear, like, oh, this is the first time. I'm not quite sure
Oh,
like
yes.
what to do. Do I belong here? Do I not belong here? So I think that personalization is really critical. So, but would you be able to talk a little bit more about the like how are you able to get into the mindset of your clients, maybe the ones that are feeling a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit nervous, and how you're able to help them relax and feel really, really welcome in your practice?
I think it starts, and Katie's really good about doing, so, she does free consults, skin consults. And I think we do a really good job about educating. You can't really do one without the other. I really appreciate that because I can say that I was maybe a, not maybe a bad patient, but not the most educated patient when I came in, right? Even as a psychologist, because I was the head person, not the skin person like this one next to me. So, I would come in for fillers and Botox in my journey, but not being really self-aware of that. The whole skin journey means that you have to be mindful of products that you're using and treatments for your skin as well, right? That it's a whole journey. So making our clients comfortable and personalizing to answer your question is kind of walking them through this journey, not um, not overwhelming them with everything, but kind of walking them through every service and what they are, what they do,
Mhm.
and kind of easing them into it rather than overwhelming them with it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what sets us apart in how we make people feel comfortable in
Yeah.
those.
I would definitely say consultation is the big thing for sure, but with the consultation, we also try to educate our patients to the best of our ability based upon what they're looking for. A lot of times people don't understand what this procedure can do for them and what realistic results look like.
Mhm.
So we have a couple of phrases that we always say. Consistency is key, meaning like if you're using skincare, if you're not doing it at home, if you're not using it consistently, you're not going to see the results. And or we'll say one is a treat and three is a treatment. It's one of my favorite things to say. If you're purchasing a service such as microneedling or Tixel, one is just going to give you like a total skin rejuvenation, but three is really what you need to get to that result. And it may even take more than three. So we're very honest with our consultations and education to let people know what to expect.
Now, in that same vein of education, I'm sure that you get a lot of people coming in that have these misconceptions about the treatments, or there's myths that they just believe that it's just not true. Would you mind sharing just a couple misconceptions or myths that you happen to hear quite often just from your patients and your clients coming in?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I guess I can because since I had never done fillers before, and now done our whole line so that I can go show people exactly what we've done. So many misconceptions because of social media in a bad way are definitely with fillers. Fillers will permanent. They will, make you puffy, continue to be that way.
Make you look plastic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That they are non-reversible, especially with lips.
Hmm.
That will stay. That they will stay that way. That they don't get reduced. Yeah.
So I'll overfill the lips and you'll kind of look like duck lips. And that's a big common misconception. But I always tell people, for me, lips is like the biggest confidence booster that you didn't know that you needed. And we have really good injectors that are going to make sure that you're not going to have duck lips. And then like another common misconception is for me, when I'm in the treatment room, we add on a dermaplane a lot, which is where you remove the fine vellus hair off your face. And it's going to help your serums penetrate better and your makeup to go on smoother. But a lot of times people think that's going to make their hair grow back thicker and darker, and that's just not the case. What we would call like an old wives' tale or something like that. That is not true. It is a blunt cut, meaning, and we go kind of at a diagonal, so it might feel different because it is a blunt cut when it grows back, but it's going to grow natural. And the reason why your hair is light is because the sun hits it. So it may look darker at first, but the sun is going to bleach out your hair when it grows back. You can get one every 4 to 6 weeks. Really, 4 weeks is best. It's going to grow back just how it was. So those are just a couple.
Got it. Now, you did touch on kind of social media and like people coming up maybe Instagram photos that's very heavily filtered. And people are like, oh,
Mhm.
I look just like this. And it's obviously not realistic. So, what
Yeah.
do you do in situations like that when people come in, maybe not necessarily with a photo? I'm sure sometimes it is like, I look just like this, but just either a photo or a concept that's just completely unrealistic. How do you handle a situation like that?
Well, I think Dr. Nair and our physicians are very good about that. They have to explain, muscles and how they operate in the face and the science behind that, correct? I love it when they will talk the difference about Botox and Dysport and fillers, the common misperception of where they can be used and what parts of the body, because there's many misconceptions online on where those can be put, right? So because Dysport and Botox are meant to kind of be here, right? There's other uses, but sometimes there have been irresponsible providers that have put the fillers in this area. But if that happens, that can cause blindness. It's not supposed to be. So that, we've had people come in and providers have used it in this area. And that's caused leakage and it's caused eye problems and it's things that's had to been fixed. Other things I think that Katie sees and we have to tell them about, there's like these microneedling
Oh, at home
at
care
home
kits and
and we'll
um
oh, don't do that. It can cause skin infections and
yeah,
all
derm
these
cleaning at
things.
home. Don't do that at home. Don't do it at home. But especially like if someone brings a picture of a celebrity and they have these expectations and you have to explain, listen, they have access to all the things. This is really what a filler, Botox, and skincare can do for you. They probably also had some type of laser. They may have had some type of facelift. They may have had some type of surgery that you're not aware that they've had to make them go from A to B. And just explaining that to them and being honest, like, you know, our injectors will even say, what you're asking for is a surgical thing. This is not going to fix with just Botox or filler or microneedling or Tixel or things like that. If you're wanting a result like that, you may need a more aggressive laser or you're talking facelift.
Got it. Now, you did touch on the topic of irresponsible providers out there, and unfortunately, it's just a reality. There are people out
It
there
is.
going to be not certified or don't have the right materials, I'll call it. Maybe they're getting their Botox off of Amazon or Temu and doing injections in their backyard or in their garage for a half the price or a third the price or whatever it is. So, what would be your advice that you would give to someone of the dangers of doing things that way or going to someone that is significantly cheaper but you don't know what type of product they're using, you don't know what their skill set is. Just what would be your recommendation?
I think one thing that people don't understand is that just because someone has a certification does not mean that they know how to truly inject. So, as a nurse or a doctor, you can go take a certification course to do Botox or something along the line, Botox just being the mainstream name. That does not mean that they have trained underneath a skilled injector. That does not mean that they've trained for years. That just means that they went, they took a course, and they learned how to do it. So, really trying to get in there and learn your provider, what their education may be, how long that they've studied doing this, and make sure that they have a brick and mortar. Like if they're doing it out of their backyard, that's probably a key sign that you should get out of there. you know, but just really making sure that you do your due diligence to look on their websites, look on their social media, look at their before and after pictures. Do your due diligence to find that injector esthetician that really is going to give you what you're looking for.
Got it. Okay. And I want to touch also on the weight loss. You mentioned that you provide weight loss. Is the weight loss that
Yes.
you provide the GLP-1s, those types of
Yes.
treatment?
Mhm.
Okay. So, because I think that, I mean, this is definitely a hot topic. I mean, these weight loss
Yes.
treatments really started coming out, I guess, started getting a little bit more popular about 2 years ago, and then it just kind of exploded out onto the marketplace.
Mhm.
And now it seems like
Yeah,
everyone has it in mind. But I want to see, because I've heard different things about it. I've heard that in some situations it works really, really, really well. In other situations, there's the talk about you do lose muscle mass. So if you're not exercising, it can be very detrimental to you. And in other situations that for a certain type of person, it's good kind of no matter what. So could you kind of help dispel some of the confusion that's potentially out there around GLP-1s and when you should really use it, when you should kind of be a little bit more careful about it?
absolutely. So it is not for everyone. So I'm our health coach as a psychologist for the program. And I think what really helps in our program, which is probably one of the strongest ones in the community, we have a huge number of clients, and we use Contrave as well, as well as the injectables. But I think to speak to it, we have a very monitored, meaning our doctors really monitor and have our clients bring in what are you doing, diet wise? What have you tried in the past? I think it's very holistic. So, while they are a cure, I don't say a cure, but while they are a solution for individuals who have that emotional eating. That's what I would say to answer your question. It's very good for individuals who have an emotional eating tie that I've seen as a psychologist, right? So I feel like that is one population. But I always tell my clients that you can't skip part of it, right? And expect that. So if you want long-term results, and we have that expectation, if you are going to receive that from us, then we want to see some type of exercise program, and we have partnerships and gyms in the community that we work with as well as wanting to see a diet journal and all those type of things. And we're constantly the internal medicine part, I think, because we do have an internal medicine practice. Dr. Nair, both Sarita and Suresh are constantly looking at studies because there's like, for instance, there's been one study that says long-term use can affect eyesight. So if she finds out anything like that, she makes sure all the clients get tested so that there's no irresponsible, because there's always studies coming out for that. But to answer your question, I think it should be conserved not for people who want to lose 5 or 10 pounds, but for those individuals who have had a journey of difficulties with maintaining and have an emotional ties to eating that can relearn because I do believe that it does retrain the brain. And that's my experience with it, to be quite honest with you. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing and clearing that up. Now,
Yeah.
I'm curious, what role do you believe artistry plays in the approach to patient care? I think when people think about medicine, they don't really think about artistry or even necessarily creativity. But in the aesthetic side, I think it's a little bit different. So, I mean, what role do you think dentistry plays when it comes to the approach to patient care in the aesthetic world?
Oh, I think it's huge. I mean, when you find an injector, I mean, your face is a piece of art, so you have to find an injector that can see those differences within a face. There are some injectors, this is I'm going to put this here, I'm going to put this here, but your injector has to have that vision of what your face is going to look like or how they want to improve your all over look. Definitely. It's a huge, huge part because just because you know how to do something doesn't mean you know how to do it well.
Got it.
Yes, and when you're talking about, and I feel like that's what we do have are some artists here because when you're talking about procedures using cadavers, and I was like, oh, I was taken back when I did my first. I was like, we're gonna do what? And you're gonna go how deep? And this does what? And I couldn't feel it, right? But it was going along for those who want to be walked through this. It's going along the bone, all the way through the bone, and my jawline is done, my chin, and so when that came out looking just impeccable, you don't want someone who is just um, one size fits all, because there's so many, you know, different facial shapes. And like Katie said, you want someone who has your style and who asks you what. And I think I've listened. I like to set in, even though I'm not the injector, I like to set in because I'm selling, right? What are we doing, right? Because I need to know. And they always say, what is it you want? Dr.
Mhm.
Nair will always say, well, what is it you want out of this? And
Mhm.
then they'll say, okay, here's how we can enhance you. So here's what we have to do that. So I think the artistry is a big deal, because yeah, that's what everybody wants when they leave. They
Mhm.
want to have a face that looks
Mhm.
beautiful. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Now, I'm sure that you've had some particularly challenging cases that have come into the practice. So, is there maybe a story or two that you wouldn't mind sharing of just kind of a tough case that came in and how you were able to get them a great and successful outcome in the end?
Oh gosh, I mean, it's hard to pick one, but I would say acne is a huge transformation. Just being able to get someone committed to a routine, um, and them being able to see the results, and even sometimes pairing that with their doctor, whether, we have good skincare for you, you're working with your doctor, you may be on some type of oral medication as well. That's such a huge transformation for a client. And definitely have had several clients in particular if you can stick to the routine, you can give it a couple months because it's not an overnight thing. And then even hyperpigmentation, which is sun damage, explaining to a client, you know, you do these series of chemical peels, you may do Tixel, you're doing your routine. It's not going to be overnight, but you are going to see this transformation over time. And just being able to show them those before and afters of this is where we started, this is where we are now. This is how much progress that you've made. Makes you just feel wonderful at the end of every single day. So for me, it's really, I always take, before and after pictures, being able to share that with the client, and giving them that whole total skin rejuvenation, and also putting some weight on them too, because we can only do so much in the treatment room. You have to do a lot of that work at home. Um, but to see a smile on their face or saying, like for instance, a lot of my acne clients are teenagers, but we're seeing it, all throughout all the ages. As a teenager, maybe their goal is prom, and then like, hey, we started here, and now look at you for prom. Like how good they feel about that. Or a client that's preparing for their wedding and they have acne scarring, and then we have been able to diminish some of those acne scarrings, in particular, and how good they feel for their wedding day. So those are some of my personal transformations, but our doctor has had some really great results with before and afters,
Oh yeah,
with weight loss and being able to take
especially weight
someone,
loss.
yeah,
Yeah.
with the journey. Like this is where you've started. Now you're down 30 pounds, you're down 50 pounds, you're in a maintenance program, and we do have a maintenance program where they come every 2 months. It's just huge. If you can, I said it before already, consistency is key. So if they have that mindset of I'm going to continue to do what you say and they stick with it, oh man, the transformations are huge.
And
Yeah.
I have to say, even, of the weight loss journey, then that floats into um, the the injectors room as well. So we see success stories there that they love because it does affect their face during weight loss, right? And so now that we've walked them through that journey, they will come in and then helping them out with that as well. And they're so satisfied that not only do they get their body back that they want, then they go through that journey and they're super happy with the face they get afterwards well because those injectables come in very handy once that weight loss happens. So we've had very good success stories in that as well.
Now, where do you think the future of aesthetics is going?
Oh gosh, it's constantly changing. I mean, the trends are constantly changing, especially skincare. We do offer both medical grade and natural organic skincare. We've been seeing a lot of trends with people going to more organic skincare. Um, and that has been something that we recently brought on that we wanted to be able to support our clients with. So that's something that we've noticed. But I mean, I'm not sure. It's just every day something new is coming up, and we do our due diligence to make sure that we stay educated. We attend meetings, we attend events, we are on social media. We have all the platforms so that we can stay informed, and we have great reps too that help support us.
And I think to answer your question, I think the market's going to drive a more, because just like any big pharma, right? The drive is to come back and get more. But I think the market is going to drive these products that are lasting longer, like some of the injectables that last longer. So I feel like there's more of a future that that's going towards that. I think we've seen more of that. Um, so I think, or some combination of some services like the Sculptra and things like that, because some people are wanting alternatives, and those are good because they're collagen building, just natural collagen biostimulators, things like that. They're giving people options that are non-injectable. So there's two kind of things happening there to answer your question. So it's very interesting to see which one's going to be more access. But I do believe that the market's going to drive because we are in a different kind of economy now. We all know that's kind of, that different things are going on. But I do think it's going to drive that injectables be of a longer duration. I think that the customers are like, hey, we want something that lasts longer. So I think that's going to drive the market. Yeah.
Okay. Now, going back to the practice, what is the vision for Body Louisville?
Gosh, we love taking care of people. We like to be embedded in the community. So we give back. We do fundraisers. We're very different because we constantly like to serve every area. We're part of the Stroke Association. We're part of the Alzheimer's Association or get back to HIV AIDS and do benefits for that as well. So we like to be a community partner and hold hands. So we're not looking for any type of short-term duration. We want to be a community partner and make sure that we're a mind, body, and spirit type of beauty. So that is just who we are. So we want to continue to grow and make sure that we provide a really good education on anesthetics so that false reality is not there, that it's just not that it's for everyone and it has its place for everybody. I think that's what we're really trying to do to answer your question is that make sure it has there's a place for everybody.
Mhm. Yeah.
Got it.
I was going to say, we definitely give back. That's definitely what sets us apart. Even our skincare line that we offer, Farmhouse Fresh, which is our organic line, 10% of all their proceeds goes towards neglected farm animals. So that's one of the many reasons why we decided to bring on Farmhouse Fresh as well. Um, and we are also very active in our community, especially with the LGBTQ plus community. We welcome everyone, and that's one thing that makes us really stand apart, I think, from our other people in our community.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Now, what would you say is the most important piece of advice you can give to someone who is thinking about getting some type of aesthetic procedure or treatment done, but isn't sure which provider to choose?
Mhm.
I would say you need a personal reference. So that would be mine, right? So if you can find someone who's been there, that's going to be your best thing. Do your research, right? So um, there are most certainly look at their website. They're only going to put their good pictures there, but if you can find a personal, reference, that would be your best. So if you have a friend, um, I would start talking to your friends and neighbors first, your personal people. Who have you been to? What do you like? Because then you're going to be more likely to have the same type of goals. So that would be my first suggestion. I don't know
Mhm.
about you, Katie, but that would be, and I would say cheap is not always better. We tell people
Yeah.
we don't, the Groupon is not going to be, should not be your starter experience. It wasn't mine, most certainly, right? It has its place, of course. We realize that. But if you're asking us how someone gets started and they want to be responsible, that's not the way to get started, right? We want you to have a good reference, maybe even ask your dermatologist, hey, do you know of a good reputable because dermatologists are educated on skin and so that's a good starting point to say, hey, do you feel like there's someone responsible or if you heard of a good provider I can go to? So that would be even a recommendation that I have. So
Mhm.
Okay. Now, I have one last question for you, but before I ask it, I do want to point people to your website at bodylouisville.com. Now, the last
Mhm.
question is, what does beauty mean to you?
Oh gosh, that's a great question.
we talk about that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what our slogan, our slogan is, your beauty is our expertise. And what that means is, I think beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So whatever you're looking for, what makes you feel good on the inside and out, is what we want to help you with. So, like for instance, in my room, it's we can chit chat and talk and all that if you want to, but I'm here for this is a safe space. It's your Zen space, and just let me love on your skin. And you're beautiful no matter what. Don't let anyone tell you anything differently. Um, I truly do feel like beauty is within. Um, so it doesn't matter what you look like, it's how you feel. And we're here to make you feel
Beauty is a feeling, and that's
good.
what we believe in, mind, body, and spirit. And when they walk through that door, we want them to know you are already beautiful,
Mhm.
and we're here to enhance it, right? We're to enhance a better you. And you can't feel that way if somebody doesn't believe in you. We believe in you once you walk in that door. So you are beautiful. We're just here to enhance you. Yeah.
Got it. Well, there you have it. Dr. Wilson and Katie sharing their expertise. Now, where can people contact you in the practice?
So we have two locations. We have one in South Louisville and we have one in East Louisville on Woods Mill and Shelbyville Road. They can contact us online at www.bodylouisville.com.
Mhm.
And then
We have Instagram at Body Louisville. We have a TikTok, and we have a Facebook. So you can connect with us on any of the platforms as well.
we have a Myth Monday where we give prizes away because just like you were talking about myths, we try to do Mythbusters. All
Hmm.
you got to do is follow us and win prizes. So every
Hmm.
Monday we do common myths, misconceptions of anesthetics. You follow us, and if you are, you simply answer the question, true or false, and you could win 20 units of Botox, or you could
You can
all
get
kinds of free stuff. So it doesn't. You follow us and come get some free stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
get your little foot in the door.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, This is awesome. Thank you, Dr. Wilson and Katie, for
Yeah,
being on the show and sharing your message.
absolutely. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Beauty Talk podcast. Any questions, please contact the practice directly with the contact information provided during the show. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.